Now, as you may or may not see also, I am wearing the God Save the Queen t-shirt from the Celebration Europe art show. It combines two of my favorite things, and that is Star Wars and the Sex Pistols. And to show my solidarity between the two, I also wear my God Save the Queen shoes. I would show you my God Save the Queen poster, but sorry, it's up in my room, and I already said that was a mess when we were going in there. A couple of shirts that I got. I was recently on a trip to New York and was just blown away. It was a business trip, but I did find some time to sneak away and go have, you know, an ounce of pleasurable experience while being there, not just being stuck behind a camera the whole time. So I got into Times Square and found a fantastic comic book shop called Forbidden Planet. Now, since then, I've come to the understanding that there was another huge comic book store around as well. I didn't find it. I found this one, and it was, you know, the people that were working there were very friendly. They were cool. Toys they had were a bit overpriced, kind of like the Brian's Toys or something like that. You know, it's silly if I can go find a figure on the shelf for $8. I'm not giving anybody 15 for it. So, you know, but if you're in New York and you're like, well, oh my gosh, then go ahead and do it. You know, whatever. You're helping some guys make some money and make a living. It's not an easy thing to do out there. So I went in, and also within the store they had walls and walls of t-shirts. And some of these t-shirts are designs you'd find at Hot Topic, you find them at Target, you find them wherever. But then you found some that you're just not going to find out here in the middle of the country, in the middle of Indiana. So one of them I bought is this one. I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm going to move up a little closer so you can see what it is and see if I can still stay, you know, underneath my garage light here. For those of you who know, you know what this is. You know who you are. And I was blown away to see this. If you don't know what it is, investigate. I'll give you a clue. That's called a Dalek. I'll give you another clue. My favorite person out of the entire series was Tom Baker. Although Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant have done a very good job. That's all I'm saying. So if you want to Google those names, do it and find out all about it that you can. It's a freaking awesome show and always has been. The next shirt I bought, it is a Star Wars shirt, but it doesn't say a single thing about Star Wars on it. And I think that's the key here. This is a shirt that you're going to wear. Oh, I'm going to wear. I'm not giving this to anybody. I'm stingy that way. This is a shirt that if somebody sees it and they're a Star Wars fan, they're going to know what it is immediately. It doesn't have to say Star Wars. And if anyone comments on the shirt, then you automatically can start up a conversation because you know that they're cool. So here we go. I'm coming a little bit closer with this one. And if you can see it just right, picture back, picture Luke, picture Han sitting in the gunning seats, and this is the targeting system on board the Millennium Falcon. And you know what? It's just cool. I haven't had any comments on it yet, but I've also only worn it one time. I did have somebody comment on the other shirt that I wore the other evening, and they immediately were like, oh my gosh, I love that. And we talked and we talked, and it was kind of cool because, you know, first impressions are everything. I'd met this person before and thought they were a little standoffish, but just because we didn't realize we had anything in common, and we carried on like a really decent conversation based on the first shirt that I showed you. Not this first shirt, but the first shirt that I held up. So let's move on to something else. I was in Half Price Books about a month ago, and I happened to look down and saw 3 very cool Star Wars books. I got to looking at it, picked one up, flipped through it, and what it ended up being is actually a very portable, not like you can really see this, but a very portable script. It's the screenplay for A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and The Return of the Jedi. And I picked them up, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, maybe, sort of, you know, I don't know, do I really need them? And looking at the $2 price tag on them, of course I needed them. It was $6 for the 3 of these, so I was like, of course I'm going to buy these. I can't not buy them in good conscience, I guess. So, and the thing that was cool about them is, like I said, they're small, they're easily taken all around with you. They've got the, you know, the poster art. But in the front of each one of them is an interview. A New Hope has Lawrence Kasdan and George Lucas. The Empire Strikes Back has Lee Brackett and Lawrence Kasdan. And Return of the Jedi has Lawrence Kasdan and George Lucas once again. And they're all featuring interviews from the time period. So, you know, this one was done in '83, this one was done in '80, this was, I don't think this one was done in '77 though, since nobody really knew how great this was going to be. So they were cool, and I got to wondering why in the world, no, I guess I'm wrong, this is from the American Film Magazine, 1977, April. I got to wondering why I didn't see these around any bookshelves around here. And I got to looking at them, peeling off the half-price books label from the back. And the reason I never saw them here was these are UK books. These were UK books. They were £4.99 a piece. I got quite a deal on these, paying just $2 a piece for them. Staying on the subject of books, I had a couple of co-workers, they're sisters. They went to their parents' house, their mom's house. They're clearing out the attic. And they were like, you know what? We found this book. We want to give it to you. It's awesome. We'll bring it in tomorrow. You know, is that cool? And as every Star Wars collector will say, of course that's cool. I'll touch on something here in just a bit of a student at Ball State who has become a good friend of mine, and he had asked me, you know, do you take donations to your collection? And I was like, of course I do. This book came in, it was The Return of the Jedi, so they brought it in, and the cover looked a little different, so I was like, oh my gosh, maybe this is the Marvel comic, you know, in the small paperback version. I've got the standard comic version of it, but I always wanted to pick that one up. And I grabbed it, and I was like, no, okay, it's not. It's got pictures in it, it's got words in it, because that's what books do. They hide information in things like this. And the thing that was really cool was, you know, it was just put together differently, and I realized, wow, this was not put out by Del Rey or anybody that I was familiar with. It was put out by Futura. And so, of course, flipping it over to the back, I saw this was also a UK book that sold for £1.75 back in '83, and they paid $1 for it. I took their sticker off, and I got it for free. So through the pipeline of fair trade, or just thanks for giving it to me, I got it for free, and this is on my bookshelf with Sarah and Dottie Krepp's name in it, not written in it, but there so that I know who this came from.